How about now? Do you guys hear audio from the music? Like all my settings are reset, so I'm trying to figure out what's needing to be tweaked still. All right, how about now? Do you guys hear music and me at the same time? All right, how about game sounds? All right then, I think we're all good. So, time for Diana. Obviously, we've got Christine elected Mayor Diana. This probably 12 hours ago at this point. Haven't really done much yet. Got my counters reset, but when I reset my counters, I accidentally reset all my SB stuff. So I'm still trying to tweak those things as I go. Done a little bit of grinding. Haven't really done much really. What I'm using right now is my Wither Goggles and Renowned Sorrow. And this has actually been fairly effective. I can kill pretty much everything up to the Inquisitors without having to do anything. The Inquisitor, though, is a little more complicated. I run out of mana for the Inquisitors. So that's basically what I've been using for this setup. SkyTills has a feature for highlighting local or detected particles for burrows. And that's what I've been getting by with since they turned off the API that used to tell you where all the burrows were. That's what SBE used to use. Now I mostly just use this thing. So these champions, oh, there's an Inquisitor right off the bat. Yeah, I'm gonna deal with this. I think what I'm gonna do is change my armor out. Swap the whole armor set at the end. Which I don't have the full set of mana, but I'll hit a little bit harder with what I do have. It was like my first mob burrow of the stream as an Inquisitor. This is the one drawback to using the mage-based setup, is that it takes a long time to kill these things. I'm trying not to overkill it because I want to switch to my Sorrow Armor and my Daedalus Axe. I'm also trying not to die. It's actually doing quite a bit of damage to me. So... oh no! I know what the problem is. a long time ago at the start of that fight, I hit a zombie and it changed my pet from the griffin. I'm sitting here doing no damage to that thing. What do we got right now? If I keep him over on this side, I should be able to actually do damage to him. Where'd he go? Did he evaporate? He may have evaporated. So, yeah. One of the drawbacks is I've got these pet rules set up. And basically they're useful for pretty much everything. So when you kill a zombie, switch to your golden dragon. When you kill an iron golem, switch to your golden dragon. That covers, the Minos champions, the inquisitors, things like that. So you can get the extra magic find from them at the end. Problem is, if you're in the graveyard and I'm hyping around, I just killed a zombie, it summoned my gold dragon. I didn't catch that at the start of that fight, so I missed that I wasn't using a griffin anymore, right? My summon pet is now the golden dragon. So anyways, gotta be careful with that. I gotta pay more attention, especially around the graveyard area. What I like to do a lot of times, you can actually try to dig the burrow again, and that will switch your pet back. So that can be kind of useful. But yeah. I can't even try to pronounce your name. Uhuvy, something or other, so I'm just going to say hi. All right. So the other problem with the marked SkyTills particle burrows is that you can't actually clear those unless you leave and go back. So we'll switch hubs for now. Kind of sad that I missed my Inquisitor there. It was only the second Inquisitor I've had so far. I really would have preferred to have gotten that. But I'm paying a little bit of a price for trying to keep the magic find numbers high. Alright, so let's go see what other burrows we can find. Oh, I should probably tell people that I'm streaming. Totally forgot to do that. All right. All right. Back to the hunt. So one of the problems that we've had, the Dianas being fairly regular at this point. Sometimes you get Dianas that are far apart and the prices go back up, but we've had a number of Dianas where people have done the right thing. Oh, I just got a Shelmet there. That's nice. It's my second Shelmet of the event. But you can see the prices for the Shelmets are almost down to 1,500 or 1.5 million. They're 1.6 right now, but they'll be lower than that soon. So the Shelmets aren't really worth selling right now. I've just been stockpiling. I actually have a dub of Shelmets back on the island. The Emeralds in the stream there. How's it going? Yeah, you guys gotta have your stream notifications turned on, or else you won't hear about it. Not enough to just to subscribe. You gotta have the notifications turned on. Feathers are already down to like 60,000 coins, which is actually where they've been for a while. So people are still buying feathers to upgrade pets and stuff. It's not too bad right now, but I'll probably start stockpiling feathers early this round. What I'm waiting for mostly is the rare occasions when it goes for a while without Diana because some other mare blocks the election for Diana. Like a special mayor will always beat Diana out. And every once in a while, you'll have like this long, 4-month-long Diana drought, and all the prices go crazy, like Shelmas for 20 million coins and things like that. So I'm keeping a stockpile set aside for this long duration Diana droughts. I don't really need coins at the moment. I've got about 400 million. Well, I have 300 million right now because I loaned Indigo some coins, but about 400 million or so that I have access to at the moment. I'm going to try to get my bank account to 1 billion, I think. Yeah, Chimera books will be helpful for that. I'm not even sure where this is taking me. The dude just around 1 million a hit with the hype, even though I'm wearing Sorrow armor with Legion and Renown instead of Necrotic. They actually do a fair amount of damage. The Inquisitors are problematic when I run out of mana. I have to let them go a little longer than I normally would like to. But I'd much rather have fairly high magic find when I kill them for the Chimera books. So it works out in the end. The problem I had in that last one was just the zombie that stepped in the way and triggered my pet rule. So these guys, these champions, I'm trying to be a little more careful with too, and kill them when I have the Date Axe in my hand, because it does affect the Daedalus stick drops, Shelma drops, and things like that. And I can get them down to pretty close to nothing really quickly. And the only thing I'm really missing in terms of magic find from this setup is the 20 magic find I would get from, even 20, it's like 5 more magic find I would get from having the helmet instead of the wither goggles, which is not really a lot in the grand scheme of things. I'm pretty close to 200 magic find. Oh, missed that one. Champions are a little tough because they die fairly quickly. They only have 12 million health. So I've got to be a little careful and not to overhype them. I just realized I probably haven't checked our beacon settings yet. Might be able to get some more magic find out of the beacon. Alright, so we're set to magic find. So we're already getting a maximum magic find. I saw something earlier. I think I dropped a carrot accidentally just in the graveyard, and it was like 199 magic find. So and that's when I'm not holding the Daedalus axe. So that increases it quite a bit. Talking about the Daedalus axe, and I pulled it out in my hand when I dug that burrow. One of the main reasons I use this setup is because the Gaias are a pain. The Gaias and the champs are a pain if you're trying to do them with all melee. I just prefer being able to go a little bit faster on the individual mobs. Especially the Gaias. I don't really miss Gaias very frequently. And I'm using like, a fairly fragile setup with the Sorrow armor not having Ancient on it, with the armor not having much health to begin with. Or not much, not as much as like Necron or something, right? think Indigo mentioned using Necron armor and Crimson to get some extra hits out of the Crimson armor. That might be something I try later. I think it would be a lot of fun if they made some of the other islands available for buying them off instead of just always having to be in the hub. I understand, I get why they do it because they have a lot of dedicated hub, servers and stuff, and but it would be fun to kind of do this other places too, not just always in the same area. Be able to mix it up, between sessions. Oh, Jamie, is the music not working anymore? Having some technical difficulties. Fix that real quick. How about now? You guys hear music now? Okay, music's working again. So sometimes, I don't know what causes this. I think what happens is I have like a little small external monitor that I use for chat, or to try to read chat. It's not the greatest solution, but it works. And I think it tries to use that audio, or that playback for some of the stuff that I have set up. And whenever that happens, basically it's not going to the stream anymore. It's going to the device. So I have to fix those settings sometimes. And I don't really know what causes it. I haven't really figured out, oh, it's when I did, these three things, all of a sudden, maybe I turned something off in the wrong order. Like the monitor's on before I start the stream, or who knows what it is, but I've got to go back and check some of the settings occasionally. And then, once it's set, it works for a while. There's a champion. I want to kill this guy with my Daedalus if I can. There he goes. Okay, nothing for me. The relics are so rare that I'm not really looking for a relic most of the time, but the magic find does affect things like the dwarf shaman drops too, right? Let me get something set up to be able to warp to the various places more quickly. What usually happens is I type it out and then I do a typo, and it's slower than if I had just use my aspect at the end to warp over to it. Something changed. I don't know where, but I don't have sound from the aspect of the end anymore. It doesn't make noise like it used to, which I can't decide if I like or don't or dislike. Less noisy, that's for sure. I think that's part of my problems that I gave myself when I accidentally reset SVE earlier. I haven't fixed all my settings yet. But I also don't know what that setting is called, so can't really go fix it really quickly. do kind of wish I could get more Daedalus sticks from the Minotaurs, but they're pretty rare, and it's not really worth time it would take to kill them with the Daedalus axe. I can't just hit them twice. I have to hit them twice and then a bunch of the Dade. And my magic, or my talisman tuning is set to Bizarre, so I have lowered strength and crit damage from that and more intelligence, but it means I can't really hit anything, especially in the star armor, for any kind of real damage. You see, I'm only doing like 100,000 damage per hit with the Daedalus axe, so it doesn't really lend itself to sitting there and trading blows with them. Bob Joy had asked on Twitch chat, what am I collecting? Basically, I'm doing what's called the Mythological Ritual. It's one of the Mara perks. And you get, feathers and things like that. That's one source of income. They're worth about 50,000, 60,000 coins a piece. But the bigger money items are things like the dwarf turtle shelmets and chimera books, which you basically just have to kill a lot of mobs. They're a fairly rare drop. So you have to kill a fairly amount of mobs to be able to get those things. The dwarf shelmets basically give your pet an item that prevents you from receiving knockback, which is pretty important in things like the dungeons. Certain other things that you do. So you really want to have like a pet that has a shelmet on it. So they're fairly high value still, because almost everyone needs at least one or two for their pets. So they hold value fairly well. But when you have a lot of people doing the Diana event, the prices go down pretty quick. Like they can go up to 20 million. There's been a large amount of time between Diana events. Or they can drop down to where they are now, which is about 1.5 million coins, because there's just so many on the market right now. We've had a couple of Dianas in the last couple of months. So supply and demand, typical economic situation. The other thing that we get are there's Minos relics, which is another pet item that boosts all the pet stats by 33%, which is great for things like the Gold Dragon, where that extra 33% turns into a fair amount more of magic find and bonus attack speed and strength and stuff like that. So a lot of people use that on the gold dragons. A number of people have multiple gold dragons. Some have dwarf shelmets, the others have Minos relic. That's a pretty rare drop. Not really common at all. The Daedalus axe is made with Daedalus sticks, which is another one that drops from these mobs. They're worth normally about 20 million per stick. They can go up to 30 million a stick or more in the extended drought. Those are fairly uncommon, but the real big prize is the Chimera books. Chimera books usually run around 120 million per, and that Chimera 5 that's on my Daedalus axe basically lets you double whatever your pet's different stats are. It doubles the stats. So like my 34 magic find I get from my gold dragon is actually 68 magic find when I'm holding that axe. So the Chimera books are very expensive because they're useful for dropping all the other things that are expensive in the game. So they tend to go, at least 100 million, even after the Diana event. More if you have mind books, you got like 2 or 3 Daedalus, 2 or 3 Chimera books. I think Indigo sold Chimera 4 book, which is 8 Chimera books for a little over $1 billion to start right before the start of the event. So you want to have Chimera books. Problem is that they only come from Inquisitors, which are a very rare spawn off of Mino's champions. You get every once in a while you get a different type of champion, which is called Inquisitor, and that Inquisitor can drop the Chimera books, but even then it's a like 1 in 20 drop or something like that. If you have a lot of magic find. So it's not frequent. People usually get a couple per Diana event. But it's also one of the fairly consistent ways of getting coins. So that one dropped a Tiger plushie. They're anywhere from 200,000. And they'll probably go down to like 100,000 at the most after this event. But outside of a long Diana drought, you can get them up to 1 million coins. They're useful because they boost your attack speed, which can for a number of things. But like most other Diana things, I just tend to throw them in my backpack and hang on to them for later. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Jamie. Catch you later on. Bob Joey, this is actually not a bad money making method for you. You can get griffin feathers even with the low level Diana mobs. Like, you won't get the high end mobs with huge amounts of health. You won't get the really good drops, but you can actually make a fair amount of coins just with griffin feathers by themselves, especially if you're talking like a budget of 1 million coins. Like the griffin feathers you just get from doing the burrows. And the burrows, when you have the lower level pet, the griffin pet, like a common variety, right? You know, they don't have a whole lot of health, so you can actually fight those pretty easily. The actual feathers themselves, you know, like 50,000 a piece, you know, you get 1 per burrow normally. Sometimes you get 2. So they can be fairly decent amount of coins as long as you have like an asterisk at the end and a fair amount of intelligence to be able to move around the map pretty quickly. Like, you see how he says you finish the burrow Griffin Burrow chain, right? And I got a feather. Those feathers add up. I've already got like 1.2 million coins worth of feathers here. The claws are not as much, but it's definitely worth spending some time doing this. If you need like money and you don't have a fairly large amount of stuff yet. Pokemon Master suggested in the chat that I should be using the Dark Auction warps, the Castle warps, and stuff like that. I know I should. Just if I typo them, it's not much faster than just warping over to it, but it saves a lot of mana. That's really the thing. And really, the number one reason people use those generally is to save their mana. For the most part, I don't run out all that often. Champions are hard to catch. Usually by the time I realize they haven't died yet, I'm already hit the last 2 hits on them with height, which kills them pretty fast. I think my problem with the Dark Auction is that you're stuck in the trees, so you have to navigate around them to get out of there. And usually the field you're going to is the one over in the high level area, which is fairly close to the museum, so sometimes it's better to just go straight to the museum than the Dark Auction. You can kind of guess where things are, generally based on the direction that you're pointing you in places you haven't been recently. That's the other thing. The places you go, with the Skytails plugin, it highlights the various burrows by their particles. You get an idea of where you've been, because if you're there and other things would have shown up if you were close enough to them, right? Usually you're close enough to them that you do get to see them. So sometimes I'll warp around just because I know I haven't been to an area recently to see what's there. Happy birthday to Pokemon, man. Oop, there's a Daedalus stick. So 194 magic find. That was without the Daedalus axe, so that's what I'm running around with basically with this setup. So that's 23 million coin item right now. That's closer to 30 million. I usually save them because I like to make Daedalus axes out of them, sell for a little bit more. But I can always mine the gold fairly quickly. Especially if I run across a Divins mines that has a floor still. What I usually do is just kind of hang on to them until I can find a gold floor, mine it real quick. Be a Pokemon Master? Yeah, I'll probably be streaming for a while. I understand too about noisy environments. A lot of times there's a lot of noise around me. Sometimes when I don't have talking streams going. Sorry to hear your channel membership ran out. Depends. But really, like, the only thing it's for is the mining pass anyway, so you should be fine. So I have two ruby paths. I have like the original ruby path that I had forever ago, and then I have the new ruby path that I kind of came up with my, a whole second set. It's actually, I think, better than the original one. But it's one I had found, a couple months back. Did a path for it. We had dug out a whole sections of the map, and I had found a cluster of ruby that kind of explored a bit. So this whole ruby cluster that I have in there, basically 20, 30 ruby veins, all in the bow area, so below height 64, so you can bow pet to get extra rubies out of it. If you've already seen both of those two, I don't really have any. Those are the ones that kind of just came up recently as far as the personal paths go. I had an interesting jade path, which you can try when you have a lot of people fighting over jade during like the mining fiestas. That can be a little useful if you want to do jade. Jade's not very valuable though, so it's just kind of like the alternate. When all the other good spots are taken up, you can't find anything. It's one of mine. Dailies, you mean like for factions, or just like my pearls and stuff like that? I stopped really doing the daily faction stuff just because I maxed out and it didn't really seem a point to get higher. What I have not done today though is gotten my pearls, and I do need those every day. Almost pulled off a no damage pearl run, but I fall damage in there somewhere. I think. Or maybe I just clipped the edge of the juice. Got a number of heavy pearls. What I don't have is the essence to go with them. Oh, and I got these smoldering books. I'm trying to make a smoldering 5 book again. Kind of saving those up. See what these dailies are. Once you max out, you only get like 4 quests. Oh, actually, no, 2 of them are repeats here. This actually does. Yeah, see, I can't actually click on that one. Gunpowder. Dojo stuff, I don't actually do the dojos. Blobfish. I'll start it. I probably won't ever actually finish it. I don't know why it wants to give 100 mage reputation for 10 blobfish. That seems kind of dumb. And Barbarian Duke. Saw some people fighting it a moment ago. They killed it already. That's not worth doing right now. Those claws are practically worthless, but they do add up a little bit, you know, especially over the course of Diana event. So I do try to sell them. They're mostly just used for upgrading pets, I think. I can't remember exactly what claws are worth. Maybe some of the other gear, like the Beastmaster crest. But for me at this point, they're pretty much worthless. I just sell them off whenever I can. So I actually don't do the experiment table ever. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. It's so boring. So no, I don't do the experiment table for weight. And I'm like, I don't know, 20,000 weight, something like that. Yeah, I'm like, my lily weight is 23,760. My Sinether weight is 21,500. So I don't really feel an obligation to like add more weight to myself. A lot of that comes from the billion mining XP that I've got, but also like close to 300 million combat XP maybe. 258, it's not that close. And then there's farming and foraging. I'm not doing foraging until I do a foraging update. All these other things are just kind of full ranked, and carpentry and taming and stuff like that. The bots pass me occasionally on the mining XP one. A lot of the dungeon players have a lot more combat XP than me. I used to be in the top 200 on combat XP. That was top 500 for sure, but then I did a whole bunch of mining. A lot of people passed me. We're all doing catacombs all the time. Other things that generate a large amount of combat XP, like the Enderman Slayer and stuff like that. I mean, how do you only have 80 million overflow combat XP after all those floors? Oh, I guess you're on your new account. So, still, the Blaze Slayers, right? That should be decent combat XP. I would think you could have gotten more than that. Probably finished Bestiary 75 at some point. Kind of slacking off in that. One of the things I think I'm going to try to do is just like Ashbang and Barbarian Duke and stuff like that have a low count needed. I've kind of just neglected. I think all the other things I have a fair amount of skills that need to go. Same Machos. Yeah, Machos are low. I should work on those at some point. Need 5 for Bestiary 75. Still pretty high up on witches. Yeah, number 18 on witches. Say skeleton maybe. 85 on skeleton. My other high ones I think are watchers. Say is ranked pretty high. 52 on watchers. 26 in Endermites. I don't know how I'm still 26 in Endermites. I haven't really been doing Endermites for a long time. No one else is either, apparently. I mean, what do you mean when they patched Blaze Slayer? What did they do to Blaze Slayer? I mean, you can always just leave it up and come back later. Like 220 minutes, that's very specific. Hey, you never know, you might end up wanting those mining paths at some point. They'll introduce some new thing that costs like hundreds of gems, hundreds of perfect gems. They're all soul-bound or something. I'm kind of wondering when you're going to start seeing like soul-bound gemstones, since they've gone a little crazy with the soul-bound system. A week out from the next round of bingo, and I planned to kind of do a quick start guide for bingo. I never actually got around to doing. Probably need to do that sometime soon. That's Diana for the next 5 days, so I don't know. Do I want to give up Diana time to do a quick start guide that get like 500 views, or do I want to grind some coins? haven't been getting very many of the Siamese lynxes time around. Feels like I'm not getting all that many Gaias either. Usually I feel like I get only Gaias half the time. It seems like there's been a lot of Minotaurs. Nothing in particular that would cause that to happen one way or the other. It's not like they're, RNG is stacked one way or the other or randomized. They're like completely expressing them. If we look at the numbers though, I'm actually getting a little bit more champions than Gaias, which seems a little strange. Maybe that's good for Chimera books though. They'll get lots of Chimeras this time around. Indigo got like 6th in the last Diana event. The thing I keep going back to is that if I just sat here and mined, the same amount of time I spend on doing Diana, I'd probably have more coins than what I get after grinding Diana. Done so much mining though, it's kind of nice to do something else. Something not quite so static. Don't really move around much. Alright, so there's that same problem I was talking about. I hit a zombie with my hype. It switched over to the gold dragon pet instead of the griffin, so I couldn't actually damage the mob there. Bob Joey had asked in Twitch chat the question of whether you should sell stuff as it goes or save it for later. Right now, in the first day or so, it's probably better just to sell stuff. What you want to start stockpiling is feathers and things like that. If you don't need the coins right now, if you need the coins right now, sell it. But if you don't need the coins right now, you can get more or two. Wait for the people who are panic selling after the event to go sell all their inventory. Get a little bit more for it, but it just depends on what you need to do. If you're still starting out, you need the coins to do stuff. Spend it, sell the feathers and spend it. Like I don't have anything in particular I need to buy right now, so I can just sit around, stockpile stuff, wait for more favorable prices. That's an Inquisitor. Here I have to be careful about running out of mana. I can't let it get too far either. They only have a certain amount of time, and they get stronger as time goes on. 7.7 million. Alright, 3 million, 2 million, 5. Now I'll switch to the Daedalus Axe and try to do these last hits. There we go. Didn't drop anything fancy. Got an enchanted claw. Yay. So my setup right now that I'm using for pretty much everything is Renowned Legion Sorrow, right? With the opals, the perfect opals on them. And then with your goggles, of course. And then, you know, just a fully maxed out hype. I haven't done Master Stars on this yet. I don't really help much. Might need to do that at some point, just for completeness sake. And then for pet rules, what I have set up is you know, when you kill a zombie, pull the gold dragon out. Same thing for Iron Golem. So this one covers most of the, like Inquisitor and Champion. I don't think it does Minotaurs, but you know, the ones that drop the expensive stuff, except for the Daedalus Axe or Daedalus Stick. Then the Iron Golem covers the Gaias. I take that back. I think the Minotaurs do count as zombies. So anyways, you know, what I want to have happen is at the actual point of kill, I want the pet to swap, because then I'll get the magic find from the gold dragon pet rather than the griffin. Griffin's not bad, just the gold dragon's better, especially since I have a Minos relic on the gold dragon. All right. So it said pet stacking, but it's not actually stacking. It's like stacking that people were doing to get really high magic find was when they were actually combining pet abilities. They would have pet rules set up so that it did like a chain of pets all at once, and you'd end up with this like super high magic find from 3 or 4 pet stacks. And the setup I've got is swapping the gold dragon out at the, you know, at the kill, not stacking the griffin on top of the gold dragon. Yeah, you can do the math on the griffin and the gold dragon pet, and the Daedalus Axe and everything else to figure out, you know, that the magic find messages you get show that it's actually swapping and not actually a stack. Or else you get more magic find. Like when people talk about pet stacking, usually they're talking about, you know, Frozen Blade pet, or leaving a server and being worked back to it. I think is how you do some of those things. Not quite sure how that works really, but you know, generally things like that takes, you can't just do it on your phone with pet rules all the time. Yeah, so the meta for the E-Man now, I don't think it's just right-click mage or crimson armor and stuff. That old wolf into me. I had to take it out. I don't know if any of these mods like SBE have a Inquisitor spawn notification or anything like that. That's really what I need, is like something that tells me when the champions spawn. I tend to overkill the champions with the hype and don't get to boost my magic find with the daedalus like I should be doing. There's a helmet off of a champion. Put on my collection. Undead Ender Dragons again. I totally missed it. We were having a fire sale here. That is kind of ugly. Yeah, they're only 9 million because there's so many of them, and they're not great to look at. Throw that in storage real quick. These other ones are still nice. Those are super cheap. These never recovered in price. I guess they got duped at some point. Oh, the Koskian's been being duped too, apparently. Those have gone up to like 20 million at one point. think I've hit any big money burrows yet. You can get, you know, 1 million coins out of them with the Crown of Greed, or you can get the 500,000 or 750,000 coin burrows, the legendary pet. And, you know, you can get those fairly regularly during Diana, but I haven't seen so far this run. I'm not even sure what Indigo's wearing there. Yeah. Oh, that's his Warden helm. Yeah, with the true Warden skin on it. Maybe crimson armor and borrow boots. Hello to someone 14 over in the Twitch chat. Saying that right? Someone. Like someone. Destroyer over in YouTube chat asked if there's a reason why I'm not using Soupy to do Diana, in theory making it faster. Mostly it's because the Skytil's burrow stuff works just fine for getting close to things, and after you've done this a whole lot, like kind of obvious where things are going to be. Like the same thing that Soupy's doing to kind of like triangulate based on the distance, the direction, you know, the how far apart the sounds are. You know, get used to it after a while, and then you can kind of get a good sense of those things anyway, right? And then Skytils will tell you, you know, highlight the burrow as soon as you get close to it. So I don't really feel a need to use Soupy. I don't really trust it because it's fairly new, and I haven't looked at, you know, who's just written it. You know, it's not open source, I don't think, so. And I don't really need it, I guess, what I feel. I don't feel like it makes it do all that much faster. There's the second Daedalus stick. That's number 2 for the night. And that's actually in 35 Minotaurs. Seems pretty fast. That's not normally the case. Usually it takes longer to do that. that's, 45, 46 million. Yeah, daedalus handle. On top of like the other stuff I've gotten, 3 shelmets and others. So. So I've been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes. And that's 2 handles in that time. That's pretty good, I think. I doubt it's going to keep that consistent. Never really is. Or at least in the past, I've never had that much luck with the handles. Sorry, the daedalus 6. Now that someone's called it a handle, it's going to stuck in my head for a while. 40 million coins an hour is not bad. Well, a little less than 2x mining. If it was always that consistent, it'd be great, but most of the time you have to get actually get the Chimera books in order for it to make financial sense. And to get Chimera books, you basically have to do a lot of Diana. So, kind of one of those self-fulfilling requirements. It pays out in the end, but only if you do it enough. And then you get people who are just lucky. They drop books all the time. 6 left and right. Saw someone get a relic earlier, which is pretty nice. This early in the Diana event. You can see there for things that are not too far away, judge pretty well where things are in the land, pretty close to where the burrow is going to be without Soupy, without really thinking about it much. A lot of people like Soupy because they don't have to have as much intelligence and mana because they're running around, trying to melee everything. So I use my Ancestral Spade a lot more freely than I think a lot of those people who are doing melee do, because I have plenty of mana to waste most of the time. There's only a set number of fields and places where the burrows show up anyway. So there's high level area, there's dark auction, there's this little area right in here. It's fairly extensive, it goes all the way over there sometimes. This little spot on this row in between here, that grassy area there, over there on that little hill, around behind the Coliseum in that area. Under the tree. So like these areas, if you get pointed in a direction, most of the time you just know where to go. You say, oh, it's in Coliseum area, or it's over here on the other side of the high level area. These are the ones that get me a lot. There's some that are like in this little shared area. I'll miss those a lot of times. So sometimes when I'm near one of those areas where I know things spawn, or burrows show up, and I haven't been there recently, I'll just hop over to them real quick and see what's there. Sometimes I even just like switch to the spade while I'm using the aspect to the end to move around. I need to get better about using the museum. It's kind of centrally located to a lot of the spots, so it's a pretty good place to go to. Saves some mana from warping around. I mean, SkyBlock's back in chat here. You said something earlier, and I had asked you, but I think you had left. What did they do to Blaze Slayer? You said it changed Blaze Slayer, or nerfed it or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what they did. I don't think they've done anything recently. My problem with Blaze Slayer is that you can't use Mage on anything higher than the T1s. Like, I could one-shot a T1. I could four-shot a T2 if I had some way of, like, tuning my hype, right? Oh, okay. So the Blaze patch was there was a way to phase skip on the high-end Blazes. I never really quite figured out who was doing what to do that, because I was not caring about Blaze, and I still don't really care about Blaze that much. But that's what got patched, apparently. Hey, I'm not trying to pronounce your name. J Dingo? I don't know. Sorry for completely scrambling up your name there, but hello. Thanks for their follow there, Pandemonium, over on Twitch. Much appreciated. Still have a lot of followers on Twitch, mostly because I only can do the dual streaming setup sometimes. A lot of times it runs out of bandwidth, and I don't really have a good understanding of why that happens. But it seems to have been a little more stable recently, so I've been trying to dual stream again. Most of my subscribers are on YouTube, so that's where I tend to stream the most. But most of the people who like to watch streams are on Twitch, so kind of a catch-22. So if I can do both, it'd be great. I'm going to keep trying to do the dual stream thing until I start having problems with it again. Seems to have been relatively stable tonight. There's been a couple of patches where the bandwidth has gone low, but Like right now, I think YouTube's a little behind, which is caught up. So. All right, I think I'm going to get a drink real quick, put it on a nice solid screen. I'll take a second to mess with settings. Alright, how's that? Can you guys hear me okay now? Okay, good. I've been having to mess with settings a lot. They had all gotten reset, and all the devices got reset. When I started the stream, I had to fiddle with it a bit. I think we're still having some issues from that. So what I had been talking about was just the Kudra follower things and all the different steps hoops you had to jump through in order to get some of the things like the collection for Netherward and the collection for I saw that coming. Getting a little too casual. So one of the reasons why I almost always immediately spam the hype when I dig a burrow is because of the Gaias. And that time I was not fast enough. So the Kudra follower, the boots was the most recent one that we did. And I ended up doing like a 10-hour stream just grinding Netherward or Netherrack nonstop on the Crimson Isle, and it was mind-numbing to try to do that. But since we have a co-op, Indigo was able to do half of it, I was able to do the other half. We were able to get the materials. You get a fairly low number on the addition on the boot. Whoop! There's another stick. That's 3 sticks so far. Let's see how my other auction had done. Never sold, so I'm going to cancel that. Maybe hang on to those for a little bit longer. So a couple of questions came up. Are Kudra boots any good? They're not used for anything just yet. We don't really know what the full set does. But they're stamped with a timestamp and an edition number, which is, why you want to get them early, because they'll be more valuable long term. They're soulbound, you can't actually sell them or anything like that, but for street cred, right, you want to have like the lowest number you can get. So for the legs, and we got into the 116 or so, and part of the reason for that was no one knew exactly what the circumstances were. You had to have a cataclysmic eruption, and there was nothing on the server to indicate what kind of eruption was happening. So they went in batches. You'd have 10 people at a time, anyone who happened to be around at the point in time when the eruption happened, and someone happened to be there, and realized that particular eruption was one of the ones that worked. And then a bunch of messages would go on all the Discord servers, like telling people, hey, get on, there's a server that's working. And even then, the numbers were limited because you had to have a Divin drill in order to benefit from that. In the first place, you had to have line the block in the Crimson Isle with the Divin drill. So, we were able to get relatively low numbers, but not super low. And then on the Netherrack, it turns out there's a guy who spawns in the deep caverns once a week on Tuesdays. Late Mondays, and pretty much Tuesdays, I'll say Eastern time, like midnight. And it's there for a day, basically. And you have to have 5 million Netherrack and 5 million Magma Cream to talk to him. In the past, right, on the old Nether Island from the deep caverns. So it took a while for people to find where he was. It took people some time to figure out, that he's only there once a week. It took some time to figure out if, there were any particular requirements. It turns out there are. There's, the 5 million collection on Netherrack and Magma Cream. And that's a lot. The first person that did that had to basically go, yes, that it was netherrack, like a high netherrack collection, and then grind it, right, with no hope of actually getting anything. So, you know, they kept checking it. Is it 3 million? Is it 4 million? Is it between 4 million and 5 million? You know, eventually it was 5 million magma cream and netherrack that he got the boots when talking to this guy. So, you know, that was figured out, but that's a pretty hefty grind, and a lot of people weren't super invested in doing it. So we were able to get the lower number of boots because we actually, on the co-op, your collection is shared, so I only had to do half of it, and Indigo did half. So it wasn't nearly as bad for us as it was for everyone else who wasn't in the co-op. And then Puppe, who's our other co-op member, you know, unfortunately he was on vacation when all this happened, so he hasn't gotten a chance to get boots yet, but he would have gotten a low set of boots without having to do any work because Indigo and I had done all the hard part, except that he wasn't near a computer at any point in time when the NPC was present. So anyways, so at some point we'll get chest plate and helmet and, you know, a Kudra mandible of unknown value. Maybe it's a talisman. No one even knows what it is, right? So it could be a talisman. It could be like a pet item. It could be something that's completely useless, like the French bread or something like that. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like the Minotaurs are dropping a lot more sticks than they used to. That was 50 Minotaurs with 3 sticks. You know, so less than 20 Minotaurs per stick. I feel like there's, you know, hundreds, like 150 Minotaurs with 4. I don't know if it's just because I have higher magic mind, I'm using all sorrow armor, or what, but it definitely feels like it's changed. Yeah, Doctor over in the YouTube chat said that, you know, the Kudra mandible will probably turn out to be some kind of item that's not really useful because it's locked behind a Devin's drill, right? And that's such a rare RNG drop already for like Iron Man players and things like that. You can't really give non-Iron Man players something that it's practically impossible for them to get. So it probably won't be anything super useful. That said, Iron Man is a choice, right? So there's no guarantee it's not going to be something cool and useful. It'll just be hard to get on Iron Man. There's been a number of Iron Man players who've gotten Divin's Alloy fairly quickly. There's a bunch that have never gotten it, you know, after hundreds of Nucleus runs. I've never gotten an alloy even on my non-Iron Man. Like, most people don't get alloys, it's so super rare. Sorry, Pandemonium, you had said some stuff in Twitch chat, and I completely missed it because it was mixed in with the pretzel rocks, and your name's supposed to show up the same color. So, the add-ons for the burrows is Sky Kills. He's showing me the ones when I get close. It marks them for me. Previously we used SBE's burrow system, but the API that enabled that stopped working or was turned off, you know, on purpose by Hypixel. So they decided that information wasn't something they wanted to share anymore. So really the best solution right now is kind of a combination of Sky Tills with the burrows, and some people use Soupy. I don't use it myself, but Soupy basically takes the ancestral spades sound and direction, right? And kind of estimates where something's going to be. So it'll put a marker on the other side of the map for you. For me, I usually can get there with like a couple of spades, so I don't really bother with another plugin, yet another plugin, you know, to try to do one specific thing. It works out for me. It's not that much faster if you're using Soupy, I don't feel like. Especially because SkyTilt is already in the market if you're close anyway. Like I haven't been to the graveyard recently, so I'm gonna run through with the spade and see if anything pops up. Hub's gotten a little full, so a lot of times I try to stay on smaller hubs, mostly because when you're on the big hubs, you'll usually have someone come over and start messing with your Inquisitors, which you don't really want. You need to get the last hit on your Inquisitor if you want to have the high magic find stuff happen. Another Shelmet. That's 4 Shelmets now. 4 Shelmets and 3 sticks. I don't know if those actually sold yet. Oh, the feathers sold between those. Still iffy on selling my sticks for so cheap. Plus 8 million from the feathers and stuff that I've sold so far. And the burrows I've dug up and everything else. So I had emptied my bank earlier, so that should be all the coins, all from this event, at least so far. I actually have enough to buy gold for a Daedalus axe. I think what I'm going to do is cancel that order, buy my gold blocks, and I'll do a buy order. And so I'll just make a Daedalus axe and put it on the auction house here in a minute. Hang on to that last stick for a little bit longer. Plushie just in. So the drop chance for Shelmet's plushies and remedies are all the same. So for whatever reason, I've been getting more Shelmets and plushies than remedies, which is great because remedies are the absolute worst thing. Only like one thing that could use them. There's a lot of point to them as a pet item for unless you like fewer profiles, might be able to make use of it on a pet. But you know, when you have all the talismans and you have all the tunings for the various things, not really all that useful to get remedies. Got 2 double chests of them on the island. So I'd rather have, you know, if I'm gonna have the same drop chance, I'd rather have the Shelmets and the plushies, preferably the Shelmets. So far, that's how it's worked out. This Diana. There's the 250,000 barrel. Okay. Hey there, just a cat guy. Just a cat guy asked in the Twitch chat, did I always have a mic? And the answer is no. I've had a mic probably about a month or so. I had it all set up and easy to use. For that, most of the time I would type. I still type sometimes. It really just depends on what's going on. Sometimes my environment is loud and I can't really talk. Sometimes I just don't want to talk. Stream's going pretty good so far. This has been all Diana. We're about almost 2.5 hours in. Plus something like 70 million, maybe. So about 35 million an hour. It's pretty good. Probably pretty standard for Diana, I guess. Mining for me is about 25 million an hour or more. So we're doing better than if we had gone mining. I'd say it's actually better than 70 million. So we've got gotten almost 6 million of 6 million at current prices of helmets. And those are really about 3 million a piece normally. So that'd be a little bit higher, but no Chimera books yet. Lots of claws. 3 dataless sticks. Buy order. I'm gonna make a dataless axe, put that up on the auction house here. I mean, for the 58 Minotaurs, having 3 sticks drop, pretty good. I'm getting about 1 every 20 Minotaurs. That seems like a lot more than I used to get. I'm running a little bit higher Magic Bind set, so I'm running around in Renowned Legion Sorrow. Legion doesn't help much, but the Renowned adds some more Magic Bind to it. About 200. It's usually like 195, a little bit more than 195 Magic Bind when I've been getting the stick drops. So maybe I need to have higher Magic Bind than I did before. I want to say I had around 165 last time I was doing this. The main difference is I switched to the Sorrow armor, and I have the Gold Dragon pet rule set up so that when I kill a zombie, I switch to my Gold Dragon automatically, which gives a little bit more Magic Bind than the Griffin does. Managed to not kill that champion. I've been having a lot of problems killing the champions too fast, so I can't hit them with my dataless axe. I really want to be holding my dataless axe when the champion's tied to have a better chance at the relics that they can drop. But I tend to over-hype them. That means I've got the hype in my hand instead, which isn't great. Hard to think why I'm catching them a little bit more without killing as many. Like I've done it a couple times now where I've been able to hit them with Fatalist Axe. Part of that is I'm trying to be a little more careful about Inquisitors too, right? I want to catch the Inquisitors earlier so I can swap armor on them. I've had a couple of Inquisitor fails so far. Mostly because I'm running around in Sorrow armor trying to fight them the whole fight. And it's not even necrotic armor, so it runs out of mana pretty quick. So I'm trying to be a little more careful with the champions to try to get armor swaps on the Inquisitors. I think it's also working out to have a better chance of getting them with the Daedalus axe instead of the pipe. It takes a little bit longer to kill champions that way. I don't really know if it's worth it. To be honest, one of the reasons I liked using the hype was being able to do the champions a lot faster than you can do with the melee. That's why I'm using a mage set in the first place. So it may not make sense to slow down on them and try to swap weapons. I don't know if the magic find is going to help all that much anyway with the Minos relics. I've gotten so few of those, it's really hard for me to say, if there's any benefit to having a lot higher magic find on them. It's not even all that much higher, it's like, 30 magic find more. So the question on the YouTube chat was, how did I get rich when I was mid-game? To be honest, it was probably when the Catacombs first came out. One of the things I was lucky with was getting in my first 20 F7 runs, right? We had done Catacombs for a while. We got occasionally lucky with armor. So I sold some, Shadow Assassin chest plates and stuff like that for coins. But when the F7 came out, I had 2 Wither chest plates in my first 20 runs. So I ended up with, I don't know, they were selling for 120 million a pop at the time. So I was able to stockpile a fair amount of coins then. I already had most of the armor you would want, most of the gear you would want, so and we ground a lot of that stuff. But when the Dwarven Caves came out, I had some money I could put into mining gear. That helped me get mining stuff, and I did a whole lot of mithril mining for XP and for pet XP, and did a bunch of. I was number 6 in mining at one point, and so I had piles of coins from that. And then the Hollows came out, and I was able to get Divin's armor, and drill upgrades, and stuff like that. But it took a lot longer. I tried to buy the Divin's alloy that Indigo dropped, but he didn't want to take an installment plan. So, if I had been able to get that, I would have been able to mine the gems while they're still super high pristine. The pristine used to give you a lot more they nerfed it pretty heavily. But so everyone who was mining with like high-end gear before that just had like piles and piles of coins. So most of my stuff comes from mining. Honestly, like mining is still probably the #1 most consistent way to get coins. Even when I was doing Iron Man stuff, you can get sorry, not Iron Man, bingo. You can get a fair amount of coins from bingo by grinding goblins, right? They drop bags of cash, or grinding spiders with a Scav 5 weapon, pretty good for bingo coins. And that's Iron Man setup, right? So limited armor, limited weapons, and things like that. I think that if you want to have consistent income, getting your mining levels up is the way to go. Once you get into the crystal hollows, you can get powder so fast now. For mithril powder and for gem powder, just doing commissions and doing chest grinding and stuff like that. It doesn't take that long to get your powder up. And on Iron Man it's harder because you can't just go buy the gear, right? But on a regular guy, you can turn your gem money into better equipment pretty quickly. You can worm fish for money. You can do all sorts of stuff like that used to be a little more profitable, but it's still pretty good income. I still think mining is the best thing to have. You need at least part of the Mountain 6 and a gemstone gauntlet. Like everyone should have that, just because when a mining fiesta rolls around, you can grind out a bunch of coins. When he didn't die. I don't know. I think if I did an Iron Man now, mining would be one of my top things that I would do. Again, even though I've done so much of it. So for gemstone mining and things like that, if you can get an armadillo pet, there's sapphire rooms that you can really take advantage of and make a lot of coins, even selling to the NPCs. Hearthstone's just it's not worth anything. You need it for concentrated stones to get to like efficiency 10 on your drills or whatever, right? But you don't want to spend that time doing that for money. Gems, you need high gemstones, gem mining speed to really be able to do it efficiently, and you need pristine, right? So you got to have some topaz, some armor that has topaz slots, like Yogg armor, or a gauntlet, gemstone gauntlet that has like a slot for perfect topaz on it. You really want to get as much pristine as you can get, because the slots that drop are how you actually make the money in mining. There's different rooms in the Crystal Hollows that spawn randomly in different places. You just have to find one of those rooms, or as iMain is suggesting here, like the ruby paths, the gem paths that I have. There's a forum post I have with all my public paths. The gem veins themselves, the tunnels through the hollows, those things never move. They're always in the same spot. So no matter where you go, if you know the coordinates for one, right, you can just go straight to it. It's the rooms that move around in our different places and different servers. So if you want to mine one particular type of gem, you just go find some of the public paths for that, right? If you've got sky tills or SBE coordinates out of the forum post, that guy killed me. And that's a fairly quick, easiest way to get different gemstones. If you search in the Hypixel forums for probably just my name and mining paths, I think that'll probably help you find it pretty quick. I don't know if I have a link to that particular post or not. Yeah, okay, here's the link to it. Let me paste it in the chat for you. So that's got, like, I have a number of YouTube videos, but these are all the different paths for it. So Crystal Waypoint is going to be the SBE. SkyTeals has like the STHW set. You just copy and paste those in. I think someone in that thread somewhere had gone through and exported like the SkyTeals version of this in a condensed format, but you don't need that really. You can probably just use those. But those paths will work on any Crystal Hollows. They haven't changed since I wrote that post. How long ago was that? Let's see. That was October 9th, 2021, so a while ago now. So, yeah, you just need to get those coordinates plugged into one of those modules, or one of those mods. It's usually pretty quick and easy. If you need help with it, you can let us know. If there's someone who will help respond with the way to do it. That's pretty straightforward, just copy and paste it. Alright, let's get this dataless axe made at the auction house. Sure, if you do it the other way, but yeah, the recipe's only enough for the left-hand axe. So that's worth 3 million. Give them a discount, do it for 52. That 1 coin discount. So, dataless axes tend to sell fairly well during Diana. So the trick with the dataless axe is that it is a decent weapon overall. It really is. But the trick is that it has its own ability to copy the stats of your pet, right? So when you add on a Chimera book, it becomes super useful because you can basically double copy the stats of your pet, right? So it really depends on the pet you're going to use with it. It's a combat weapon, so you have to have mostly a combat pet's going to benefit from it, right? The exception to that might be like if you're using a black cat or something that has magic find, like the griffin, right? I don't know if theoretically, like the farming fortress, or sorry, the farming fortune should be, sorry, it will not be doubled on something like the elephant, right? Because it doesn't double the things that are in the perks for the pet. It's only the base stats of the pet, right? So you have to have something like a gold dragon where it has magic find as a base stat to really benefit from it, right? So, you know, it's a useful weapon, useful all-around weapon. Once you've got it tricked out with all the stuff on it, you know, it's way cheaper than like a hype, right? But a hype's gonna be a lot more effective for most things. You know, it's less effective than a Terminator, right? So I don't know. It's worth getting eventually, especially if you're going to do anything that requires magic find when you kill things. But the other benefit for Diana is that it has a 200% damage modifier for mythological creatures, so it hits Diana mobs particularly hard. But it's also 53 million points. So kind of have to figure out where you want to spend your money. And obviously, if you're Iron Man, you gotta drop the sticks and everything yourself. I've always liked the Shadow Assassin armor, and it's usually not too expensive. I don't think I have a set on me though. But it's got a lot of defense. You know, the superior set's going to be nice all-around armor, but really for a few million coins, you can put together a pretty nice little Crimson set, right? In Crimson, once you get it to burning, like 3-star burning, it's basically the equivalent of like Necron armor, right? So it's a cheap version of Necron armor, right? And even there, you get some extra things like you can get the more mana, or you can get like Lifeline's probably a better one than regen, but it's worth looking into Crimson armor too. That's a really good melee set, like pretty comparable to the Necrons in terms of health and damage and stuff. Be like health is 415, defense is 124. Defense is higher on Necron, health is the same, so it'll be a little less protective. But then when you do something like the Aurora set, right, you can get a lot of intelligence. So if you're doing a mage setup, you kind of want the Aurora set. If you're doing like melee, you want the Crimson. The Livid Dagger is going to be one of the better all-around cheap weapons. It's probably worth using for a while. It really depends on what you're going to grind. If you're doing any of the Slayers, you want to use the weapons from the Slayers. If you're doing dungeons, you probably want Shadow Assassin, a Zombie Knight chestplate, right? If you're doing if you're doing like the Crimson Isle stuff, I really don't know what you'd be fighting. Any of the Crimson sets would be good, or any of the Kudra sets would be pretty good for that. If you're doing dungeons and stuff, though, you really want some of the dungeon specific armor. If you're just running around trying to one-shot Enderman, Ender armor is better than most things, or at least good enough to be able to one-shot stuff. It doesn't take long to be able to do that. I think I've done it on bingo pretty easily every time. For a cheap mage setup, it's really hard to beat a crystal set. You get like 1500 mana with just a crystal armor and a set of shadow goggles. Will do a lot of damage with even just like a Dreadlord sword, right? If you want to grind coins and spiders or stuff like that. It all comes down to like what you want to do. It's hard to give people advice on the best things to get, because it really matters what they're doing with it. Yeah, if you're doing Rev Slayer, you want Slayer armor, right? You want the almost all the Slayers. You want to use the armor and the weapon for that set, for that Slayer type. The exception maybe for Wolf. A lot of people use other weapon and armor for Wolves and stuff, but a lot of it depends on how many talismans you have and how much boost you're getting from your talisman too. For floor 6 for sure, you want Shadow Assassin armor. And if you can't afford the full set, you want the Zombie Knight chestplate. You'll probably want a blue whale to go with the Shadow Assassin armor. A lot of times Flower of Truth too for the strength boost for more health, things like that. I'm sorry, I just keep saying blue whale, but for Shadow Assassin, I think you want the Baby Yeti instead, right? So the Baby Yeti's ability is to turn your strength into defense, right? So that was the way that we did F6 originally, was Baby Yetis and Shadow Assassin armor, right? And then you could do blue whale and the well, a couple different armor sets, hardened diamond or perfect diamond armor. You do just kind of some of the higher floor tank armor drops. You do probably not the Reaper armor. Really depends on how high your Zombie Slayer level is, but the Zombie Slayer armor, is good enough for a lot of that. But Shadow Assassin with the Baby Yeti pet is pretty solid for F6. Yeah, Juju with Archer will work for floor 6 pretty well. A lot of people use that setup. There's a lot of competition for Archer though, like everyone wants to play Archer. So that might not be so straightforward. Mage, you really want to have a hype before you really start trying to do. Like your other options are pretty limited, like this Spirit one, I think is something that people used way back in the day. Dreadlord Sword will work in a pinch for some of the mage stuff. Probably not F6. I feel like the Dreadlord Sword's an underrated weapon though. Every time I get on bingo with one, it just seems overpowered for what it takes to get one. And a lot of stuff in the game has changed. I last did F6 extensively, right? Like, I really, the meta at the time was like using boomerangs as an archer to kill all the terracottas, right? That was like the thing that people did. Then Terminators came out and people would use that to on the master floors, right? On the master floor 6 though, you use the gyro to basically pull all the terracottas into a spot so that archer can blast away at them. Like the tactics are different than they used to be back in the day. It used to be you just waited for all the terracottas to spawn, you got up on the wall with the golems, the archer killed the golems or the mage, and then you just kind of waited out the terracottas while the healer healed you and the tank kind of supported you. And since then, like the tank and the healer roles have changed quite a bit. So it plays a little differently than it used to. Lampin, hello, how are you? I like the Aurora armor myself, just because you can get it cheap and get stuff like Breeze on it, and Mana Pool. which, you know, still takes some time to upgrade those things, but every little bit helps, especially when you're lower level. And those are fairly decent sets, you know, for all around the game rather than just dungeons like the dungeon armor tends to be at this point. Lampin, you asked 1.9. I'm not sure what you mean. 1.8.9? 1.19? I'm using 1.8.9, but I've got a texture pack that's like from 1.12 equivalent. Maybe 1.14. I don't even remember this one. So this is SkyBlock. This is, you know, not any of the newer versions. Some people use, I guess, 1.19 or whatever for Hypixel, but anyone who does any kind of PvP combat tends to use the older 1.89 with the older combat system. A lot of the mods for SkyBlock are only available for 1.89 because so many people are stuck on 1.89 combat. It'd be nice if everyone upgraded. I would actually prefer to use a more recent version, but use what tools are at hand. So yeah, 1.14 textures that the pack is moving or using. So Crimson Armor and everything else may not be all that useful for F6 because the Dungeon Armor, anything that's starred or upgraded to dungeon, has a lot more oomph to it when you're actually in the dungeon. What you might want to do is mix one piece of Crimson in with like a bunch of dungeon gear. Like if you did like Crimson Boots, right, you still benefit from Crimson ability, which is basically going to give you more ferocity hits. So get more, get the at 10 stacks you get the swipe, right? That hits multiple enemies. The armor itself, well, maybe it doesn't give you ferocity. It doesn't give you ferocity, but it doesn't. But it's easy to maintain that 10 stack wiping, right? You can put things like, you get life, life regen, lifeline. That's what I've got on mine, but it's kind of questionable whether life regen is worth it. And lifeline really is just kind of like the last resort thing that may save you at the last moment. Gives you a little more damage, a little more defense at the very end. So it's kind of up in the air whether or not it's the best. I could have sworn this thing gave you more ferocity. I'm not seeing that. Anyways, that might be something to try. Put on like Crimson Boots with, Shadow Assassin legs. If you're doing archer stuff, you try a Terror chestplate. The Terror armor does have a the Hydra Strike setup, right, which gives you more damage, and you get more arrows once you get the 10 stacks in. So, anyways, yeah, so trying to mix and match those might work, but the thing is, you're going to get a lot of your health from your health and defense from the dungeon armor being, dungeon starred inside the dungeons. So you can't like just use a full set of Crimson or a full set of Menorah and expect to survive very well. You're gonna get like twice as much or more just from the base level dungeon armors. Yeah, Necron is hard to beat for the dungeons. Storm, if you've got hype or if you want to do mage. Necron's just a good all-around armor, even outside the dungeon still. Like Crimson can be better than it if you've upgraded it, but that costs a lot of essence and that costs coins or time if you want to go fishing. So yeah. Like for the, I don't know, 50 million, 60 million you spend on Necron armor these days, probably well worth it. That's an Inquisitor. Alright, so we learned last time is that I needed to switch armor for most of my damage, and I need to switch back. I'm going to stand over here for a minute, just going to collect mana. What I want to do is drop my Plasma Flux down. But I need 40% of my mana for that. That's getting pretty close. So, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. I don't know why he's all the way over here. I'm just going to run my mana out and see where we're at. So 31 million. Oh, because I got switched somewhere. Oh, I have a pet rule set up for my armor. Oops. I just blew all my mana. See where we're at now. 10 million. 6 million. 1 million, 0.8 million. Oh, he's about to, I had to kill him because he was about to run out of time. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to switch my armor first, but I messed it up with the, that being changed when I did the armor, so let me turn that off real quick. These are all the things I end up doing at the start of every Diana. I mess up all these things. Let's see here. So, I want my... I'm going to turn this off. Stop me from spawning my gold dragon again. What I didn't mean. What I probably should do is just get another set of Necrotic Wither goggles. So I can have them on both sets. Keep my helmet in the inventory or something. What I want to do at the end, though, is swap to Full Sorrow with the Daedalus Axe and the Gold Dragon for the kill shot on the Inquisitor. But it's one of those. Gotta get all my ducks in a row, and right now they're scattered everywhere. So. All right, so let's see. at right now? We're just about 3 hours in. I've got 53 million of Daedalus Axe plus 23 million. So another 76 million, probably. Well, these are gone back up. Let's just call these like 2 million. They're 8 million there. So 84 million. About 84 million coins plus 4 million in my purse. So getting close to 90 million in 3 hours. That's 30 million an hour. Not too bad. For your gauntlet, just start off with the flawless on everything, and then once you mine for topaz and jade and amber and stuff, just craft, put it in your forge, right? Those are all easy to get the crystals for. So you just want to take those over to the forge and get 5 flawless of each and take it to the forge. I wouldn't spend coins on it. It's easy enough to grind out yourself once you've got some pristine, right? And a flawless pristine from a gemstone gauntlet having topaz on it isn't the best, of course, but it's not bad either. You want to have your amulet of power and things like that upgraded as well. But yeah, I made most of the higher end gems that I've had on my equipment. I bought some of them later on when I was doing stuff like armor slots and things like that. But a good amount of my actual perfects on my Divins armor, on my drill, were things I actually forged myself just by grinding them out. It doesn't take long, especially if you wait for a mining fiesta, you'll get tons of gems. Could not find this bro. Yeah, the crazy thing on here right now is that I have almost as many fatalistics as I do shelmets. That's beyond bizarre. That's usually very 10 to 1 difference kind of thing, for me at least. So it'll be nice if that keeps up, but I don't think it will. There's something over here earlier that got pointed to. I'm just looking for whatever it was. Probably this one. I think I've only dropped 3 Ghost relics ever. Not super common. I've done a lot of Diana. You know, you'd asked earlier like what I did mid-game too for coins. Diana's one of the things that we did a lot of for shelmets and feathers. And, you know, of course that was like when, you know, before there were Terminators, so Griffin feathers were worth not a whole lot eventually, right? There's only so many pets that needed shelmets, you know. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things that's changed over time. Oh, that is another Inquisitor. You can see the little particles next to it. So we'll try this again. We're going to go with this set. Definitely have Griffin out. Get our Plasma Flex placed. Mana here. Got 15 million left. 7, 4, 1. That way we need him. So this is the risky part. I gotta get in there and kill this Inquisitor before I run out of health, or he runs out of. Oh, I did it again. I have my Griffin pet out. Alright, so all that work, and I got a enchanted Ancient Claw. But, you know, I'll do all that work, and at some point I'll get a Chimera book, and it'll be all worth it. What I probably need to do is turn off pet rule for my Sorrow armor also. So that I stop switching pets on myself. Alright, so taking down 4 Inquisitors. I've actually spawned at least 6. I think I had 2 failures. And so Netmode suggested putting a rule for intercombat pull out your Griffin pet. And I don't want that one because it will interfere with, like here with wolves and stuff, right? It will interfere with my gold dragon rule when I kill an Inquisitor, or when I kill a zombie, right? Which does the Minotaurs, the Champions, the Inquisitors. Or when I do a Iron Golem, which covers the Gaias, I want the gold dragon to come out on kill, and if I have a wolf or something stray in there, right, I enter combat with the wolf, at the same time it will prevent the gold dragon. So it's kind of a tricky balancing act. And really the only problem here is like I'm switching armor, and my armor rules are what were tripping me up, so I don't really, if I don't have those rules on, they're not going to cause problems. I can just turn back on later when I'm not doing Diana. I just realized I may not have my tunings tuned out the right way. Well, it's actually probably not bad for this. I have 109 defense set up right now, which is probably what's helping me survive a little bit longer on things like the Gaias. I think I want to keep that. But I could also turn that to intelligence by running out of mana. But I've been doing pretty good with mana, I feel like. I think we've got a plan now for the Inquisitors where we just swap the armor without swapping the pets. You know, things will be fine. Void Heart, these waypoints are from Skytills, and what it does is it looks for these particles, right? And when you're close enough for particles to show up, it marks the burrow. See how it says particle there? This has been around forever. They basically, before there was an API even, I think maybe, they were set up to do that. And I've used it even when there was the API, because a lot of times it would pick up stuff that didn't show up in the API because I hadn't refreshed yet. So it's not, super great, like as much as like something like the actual API waypoints we used to have would be, but it definitely helps catch things that are, like a lot of times what I'll see is, I may have noticed the burrow in front of me, but I wouldn't have noticed the burrow behind me. Like there's some particles over there, right? I probably wouldn't have seen those if they would have been there. So, but it's not like nearly as awesome as the API used to be. Yeah, the old API waypoints were really nice. I don't know why they decided to get rid of them. I feel like it may have been, when they made a change where the Inquisitors started dropping Chimera books a little more frequently. And when I say a little more frequently, I mean like a little more frequently. And around that time is when they killed the API off, right? There was like one Diana where one person made like 3 billion coins or something ridiculous. And I think that was right when they started they got rid of the API like 2 Dianas after that, because people were complaining it was like too easy for people that were abusing pet stacking to make billions and billions of coins every Diana. So there were people that were getting like 350 magic find or something like that, right? On every visitor kill. It's just kind of ridiculous. So, for the most part, running around with the waypoints on top of that, which is so much coins for the people who are abusing other bugs like pet stacking. But anyways, like 2 weeks, two Dianas after that is when they took away the API. So if you get a Gaia like that next to a player that's AFK, we could have totally killed newbie that Gaia if we wanted to. If I had gone away, as long as he has a Griffin out and has a high enough level to fight it, that Gaia would have totally gone after him, the lightning. And it wouldn't take more than a couple of hits to take him out. It's kind of fun to do that when you see people with like, you know, high-end Diana setups standing idly around. If you catch him with a Gaia nearby. Minor trolling, I guess. Regular old. Yeah, like a lot of people are using something called Soupy, and what it does is it basically takes the spade's sound, the audio, right? Because the pitch changes, or the pitch and the timing changes when you fire the spade, depending on how far away it is, right? It'll take the direction it's going, it'll take the audio and do a guesstimate on where the arrow is going to be, right? But you know, if you've been doing Diana for any length of time, you kind of have a general sense of where the spawns are going to be anyway, right? So it's not that useful for people who've been doing it a long time, but for new people, it's still pretty useful for kind of getting directions to where they need to go. And then if you have something like Sky Tills, it's marking the particles, you know, it kind of works in combination to make it a lot easier. It's not nearly as good as a waypoint, so. Ooh, there's a shell in. So almost back up to 2 million. They were down to 1.6 earlier, 1.59. I'm glad I didn't sell any of mine then. Well, they're all the way up to 2 million now. So what I might do is, you know, put some of these up for 2.4 million overnight and just kind of see where they go. And now actually. My axe is no longer the cheapest. Someone undercut me. But we'll see what these do overnight. I'll just leave them up for like 6 hours, right? I don't really care if they sell. I don't need coins that badly right now. So it's really just kind of we'll put them up for more than the lowest bin is and see if they go up overnight as fewer US players are playing the game. I mean, 2.5 million is still a discount from the normal-ish 3 million price they usually have. But we'll see how things go. The Daedalus axe probably won't sell. These are not like high volume items. Go every now and again. But I can also, if it doesn't sell, I'll just sell it before the next Diana. It'll be probably a much higher price for it at that point. Yeah, Voidheart, if you don't have a legendary Griffin yet, you know, you're not really going to want to do Diana. It's not going to be profitable for you to spend the time on it. You have to be able to get those high-end mobs, to get the Shelmets, to get the Daedalus sticks, to get all the things that are basically going to give you coins. You're probably better off like mining. Right? Whoops, that is another Inquisitor. Let's go swap armor here. Build up some mana. Get our power orb placed. Fell off again. I don't know why it's gone down. Problem there is that outside of the zone of my plasma flex, 8 million left. 1.6, so one more hype. Switch armor again. Another enchanted ancient cloth. Sadly, not the Chimera book I was looking for, but you know, it's funny. This is actually in the same spot that other one was. Its burrow is like right over here. I think it's a popular place for Inquisitors to hang out. I don't know where you keep your armor and stuff. I mean, your combat level is kind of probably, you know, it's really going to depend on what kind of talismans and stuff you have. Catacomb level, you know, if you have Ancient on your armor, give you more damage and stuff, you'd probably be able to pull it off. You'd want a Daedalus axe for sure. Oh, here's your wardrobe. Yeah, like none of this stuff's gonna really help you. You might try mixing some of your Crimson armor with your, like a pair of Sorrow boots for the true defense they have. These are all ancient, so if you've got a Warden helmet, you'll want that too. Warden helmet and a decent Daedalus axe are probably the things you're... Yeah, Leon, I've gotten 3 sticks so far. Almost as many, like for a long time, it was almost as many sticks as I had Shelmets, which was just bizarre. I have not gotten any relic or Chimeras. I've only had, you know, like 5 Inquisitors, and I kept screwing up some of the Inquisitors, so like 2 of them got away. But I'm about plus 90 million at the moment. In about 3 hours of grinding, so about 30 million hours. So. I'm using the Wither Goggles with Renowned Sorrow, and when I'm killing with the Hype, I'm getting about 200 magic points, like a little 194 to 196 usually, somewhere in there. And part of that's coming from having a Gold Dragon head swap rule. So when I kill Iron Golems, or I kill the zombies like Minotaur Champion, it swaps to the Gold Dragon to give me a little extra magic mind. I think that's probably why I'm getting more sticks than I normally would have. I don't know for sure, you know, how much of an effect it's having. I just had a couple lucky runs with sticks and stuff. I'm not getting, like, some of the things that you know, I normally would get would be a lot of shellments and plushies and remedies and stuff. I've actually had a pretty good shellment to plushie ratio, and no remedies at all yet, which is kind of amazing. Then we're gonna have 2 dubs of them back on the island. Every once in a while I see like a skeleton spawn in and disappear. Like they messed up the night spawning skeletons at some point. And they've like fixed it a couple times now, but they used to abuse those so much for candy, for spooky event, also for just bones, for like rune-ins. Like when the game first started, one of the things we did for deploying was grind the skeletons on the spider island for piles and piles of enchanted bones. Like we would make a rune-ins every hour or so. If you had a server where people weren't walking through your piles of bones and messing up all the respawning skeletons. But yeah, it was definitely the thing to do to make money early game. Like the first couple of years, SkyBlock. The first couple of SkyBlock years. Now we're closing in on 3.5 hours. Thinking I'm probably going to take a break here for a while. Like a long enough break that I'll probably shut the stream down here. Yeah, like the high level area, you know, back in the day was expected to be, I think, you know, they've got a massive gate there. So I assume that they probably intended to have some kind of island or something like that. That would be the entrance to, and then they just never got around to it. Like so many things, like the foraging update. It'd be nice to see the foraging update. I'm really looking forward to being able to finish foraging without having to suffer the way you would have to do now. Still waiting to finish farming too. Farming's annoying. Close to being done with that. I could probably knock it out in the weekend, but I really just don't want to. I'd rather have melon minions do that work for me. Problem is the foraging menus just don't produce enough foraging XP to make any kind of progress, no matter how long you let them sit out there. Yeah, like fishing. I used to hate fishing too. Couldn't stand it. And fishing 50 plus, God knows how much now, 40 million. Most of that's from lava fishing, I think. I was fishing 50 for a long time, and then I just stopped fishing. But then when the Crimson Island update came out, I did some more. And the fish there, the lava fish, get so much XP, especially like during a marina event. It's just kind of ridiculous. Those caves kind of make it hard to judge sometimes where a burrow is going to be, because they'll end up inside that little cave area. And it's super annoying to go in and try to find those when it looks like they're pointing you to the other side of the mountain, or they're pointing you over to the high level area. We might do one more burrow here. Or one more burrow chain, I should say. Oh, see, I got killed by my pet rule there. So I started fighting the guy I can construct. I hit a zombie, I think. Well, maybe not. I thought I might have hit a zombie and my pet rule might have killed me, but looks like I didn't actually, so I don't know what was going on there. Maybe just lag. No, that was the end of the burrow that I had trying to do, so bump off this stuff into the bazaar. Stack of feathers again. See what we get overnight in the auctions. That's 3.4 million, 5 almost. Even just all these 1.5 million, that's 7.5 million. 60 million there. 3 plus 5. Fatalist stick. So yeah, not bad for a couple hours of work. Alright, so I think with that, I'm going to shut the stream down. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate you